Lesson 2-3, solve multiplication and division equations. So when we're solving these, think of a pan balance. A pan balance has two pans on each side, and they have to be equal to each other. If you remove something from one side of the pan balance, you have to remove the same amount on the other side for it to remain balanced. Or if you were to add something to one side, you'd have to add that same amount to the other side. So when we're looking at the multiplication property of equality, whatever you multiply on one side, you need to multiply on the other side to keep it still equal. The division property of equality says for all real numbers a, b, and c, if a is equal to b, then a divided by c is the same as b divided by c. So just remember that dividing by a fraction is multiplying by the reciprocal, so keep that in mind when you are solving these. And then the other thing is just equivalent equations, or just equations that have the same solution set. So let's take a look at some examples. We're going to use the division property of equality first to solve. So here it's written as a multiplication problem, but remember inverses, the inverse of multiplication is division. So I need to get y by itself. The opposite of multiplying by 5 is dividing by 5. So if I divide by 5 on both sides, I have negative 8.5 divided by 5 gives us a negative 1.7. So y would equal a negative 1.7. Now this next one over here, negative 5 3/8 equals 2q. I would rewrite this as an improper fraction. So 8 times 5 is 40. 40 plus 3 is 40 thirds, or 40/8. And this is negative. And then I want to divide that by, or not 40, sorry, that should be 43. So negative 43/8. And this is going to equal, and I'm going to make this 2q over 1. So now the opposite of multiplying, I'm going to get rid of the over 1. The opposite of multiplying by 2 is dividing by 2. And if I'm dividing by 2, what I'm really doing is multiplying by 1/2. So if I multiply the other side by 1/2, I'm now left with q equaling negative 43 over 16. Next, I have negative 10.2 equals 1.7. The opposite of multiplying by 1.7 is divided by 1.7. Now, on the calculator, I can do negative 10.2 divided by 1.7. If you were to show your work on that, you would have to multiply both numbers by 10, so you're not dividing by a decimal. But j would equal a negative 6. Next, I have 19h equals a negative 114. The opposite of multiplying by 19 is divide by 19. And on my calculator, I have negative 114, and I'm dividing by 19. Gives me h equaling a negative 6. Next, we're going to use the division property of equality to solve these. So first, we want to combine like terms. So 11 1/4 is 11.25 plus 3.75. This is going to give us 15. And 15 is going to equal 5x. Now I can get x by itself by dividing by 5 on both sides. X is going to equal 3. This one, divide everything by 72. And I have negative 216 divided by 72. And g is going to equal a negative 3. Next, we're going to use the multiplication property of equality to solve these division problems. Now here I have a fraction. Now remember 2/3 times a, I multiply by the reciprocal, which would be 3 over 2, because that's going to give us 1a. And then whatever I do on one side, I do on the other, so multiply this by 3 over 2. And then I can simplify here. 2 divided by 2 is 1, 4 divided by 2 is 2, 3 divided by 3 is 1, 9 divided by 3 is 3. So my answer is going to equal 2/3. Next, k divided by 4 equals 16, multiply by 4, because that's the opposite of dividing by 4. So if I multiply both sides by 4, k is going to equal 64. Next, negative 80 equals h divided by 5. Multiply by 5 on both sides, get h by itself. Multiply this side by 5, and that's going to give us a negative 400. And this last one here, 2/5 times z equals 10. Multiply by the reciprocal, and do that on both sides. And z is going to equal, divide 2 here, divide 2 here. 5 times 5 is 25. So z is going to equal 25. And our last problems, these are word problems. It says the tallest player on a basketball team is 72 3/4 inches tall. If this is 1 1/4 times the height of the shortest player, what is the height of the shortest player? So this would be 5/4 times, I'm going to use x. It's going to equal 72 3/4, so 72 times 4 plus 3 gives you 291 over 4. Now to get x by itself, I'm going to multiply it by 4 over 5. 4 is divided out, so I'm left with x equaling 291 over 5, which would be 58.2, and that would be our height of the shortest person. Next, what is the area of a triangle? The area of a triangle is 156 square inches. If the base is 26 inches long, write and solve the equation that can be used to find the height. So the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. They gave us the area, which was 156, and they said the base was 26, and then I have the height, and then I divided by 2, which really this is going to be 156 equals 13h. Now if I divide this by 13 on both sides, 156 divided by 13, the height would be 12. So it would be 12 inches. So that is our lesson on solving multiplication and division equations.